Did you fix Buzz?
Bitácora espacial.
Sort of.
Get ready to dust off your cowboy hats and Space Ranger wings, because Toy Story is coming back with an unprecedented 5th installment. When the first Toy Story movie came out in '95, it made Pixar, which at the time was just a small and modest studio, a part of the movie industry. The groundbreaking movie only gave everyone their first look at the iconic characters like Sheriff Woody, Tom Hanks, Space Ranger, Buzz Lightyear, Tim Allen, and others. But it was also the first full-length movie to be animated in 3D. Since almost all animated movies are made today in 3D, it's safe to say that the first Toy Story was one of the most important animated movies of the 20th century. Pixar wasn't done publishing The Limits though. In '99, they made Toy Story 2, a fantastic sequel that is just as good or even better than the first movie. Many people think the second Toy Story movie is one of the best animated sequels ever made. It added even more fan-favorite characters like Joan Cusack's Jessie, the yodeling cowgirl, and told a much more emotional story. The third movie, Toy Story 3, which came out in 2010, was the best of the original trilogy. It was so good that it was nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture. Toy Story 3 seemed to be the end of the long-running franchise because the toys were now ready to live a happy life with the new owner. Woody, Buzz, and the rest of the gang got their happy ending.
Toy you don't know!
We'll have to cross. You're not turning me into a mashed potato. I may not.
That's why many people were surprised when Toy Story 4 came out in 2019. Most people thought the last movie ended perfectly and didn't need a sequel. Those fears turned out to be unfounded, as Toy Story 4 was a great ending that showed us more about Woody than ever before in the series. So it seemed like the series was over, except for the mostly unrelated spin-off Lightyear, which didn't do too much to impress fans or critics. Again, it looks like Pixar isn't finished with the Toy Story series just yet. At Disney's recent Q1 earnings call, the Walt Disney Company CEO Bob said that Toy Story 5 is being made at Pixar, along with Frozen 3 and Zootopia 2. Since the surprise announcement just came out, we don't know too much about the movie's plot or returning characters, but the voice of one of the Space Rangers did say that they'll be back. Here's everything we know so far about Toy Story 5 to find out more about its expected return and other details. Tuesday, February 8th, 2023 was the first day that people heard about Toy Story 5. Bob didn't say exactly how far along the 5th Toy Story movie is in production, but it's likely still in its very early stages. So we won't get to see the new chapter for a long time. Another sign that Toy Story 5 is still in the early stages is that a release date wasn't given during the Q1 earnings call. However, based on Pixar's current release schedule, we can make a good guess. Elemental is a story set in a world where the elements come to life and live together. In this world, a young woman made of fire and a young man made of water fall in love despite their differences. That is coming out in 2023. In 2024, there will be 2 different Pixar projects. This includes Elio, an intergalactic sci-fi epic about a young human boy who becomes an alien ambassador, and Inside Out 2, a sequel to the 2015 hit that will bring back many of Riley's feelings as a young girl grows up from a child to a teenager. Beyond 2024, Pixar also has 3 other dates for projects that don't have names yet. June 31st, 2025, March 6th, 2026, and June 19th, 2026 are those dates. Toy Story 5 could fill one of those spots or get a release date in 2027 or later. It's hard to think of a world where there isn't a Toy Story movie in theaters. The franchise has made more than $3 billion at box offices around the world, so it's unlikely that Disney and Pixar would want to miss out on any of that potential. After that almost certain run in theaters, we can also expect Toy Story 5 to join the other 4 films in the series on Disney+, where it will also be available to stream. Once upon a time, Woody was Andy's, John Morse's, favorite toy. Andy was the best kid a toy could ever have as an owner. When Andy got a new toy, a space action figure named Buzz Lightyear, things seemed to change. The space toy, who thinks he's a real space ranger, made Woody jealous. years, and the two boys ended up lost together and in the hands of Andy's bad neighbor, Sid. Woody and Buzz were able to put their differences aside and find their way back home while they were living with the crazy kid. In Toy Story 2, Woody gets hurt and he can't play with Andy. The owner of Al's toy barn steals Woody because he can't play with Andy. It turns out that Woody is part of a larger set with Jessie the cowgirl, Bullseye, his noble horse, and Stinky Pete the prospector. This set is very rare and worth a lot of money. Buzz and some of Andy's other toys set out to find Woody and bring him home. Even though Stinky Pete tries to stop them, they find Woody and bring him home, where they meet Jessie and Bullseye. In Toy Story 3, which almost takes place 10 years after the second movie, Andy is 18 years old and getting ready to go to college. Andy is grown up and no longer plays with his toys. He's even given some away, like Woody's favorite Bo Peep. They end up being given to a nearby daycare by accident, where they meet Lotso, a bear who seems friendly, but Sunnyside Daycare is not what it seems to be, and Lotso is an actual maniacal controller who makes the other toys do what he wants. Lotso almost gets Woody, Buzz, and the rest of the gang, but they barely got away. In a bittersweet ending, Andy gives the toys to a new good kid, Bonnie. In the last movie, Toy Story 4, Bonnie and her family take the toys on a road trip. Woody meets up with little Bo Peep, who is living as a free toy that scavenges and explores the world outside a child's bedroom for the past few years. Here, Woody has an unusual choice to make. Does he keep doing what he's always done and be a toy for a child whose interest in him is waning, or does he stay with the toy he fell in love with for the rest of his life? Woody chooses the second option in the end because he wants to live a free life on his own and say goodbye to his other longtime friends. We don't know much about the plot of Toy Story 5, but it looks like Woody and Buzz will get back together in 2019 after they said goodbye. Tim Allen has been Buzz Lightyear's voice actor since the first Toy Story movie came out in '95. Many Toy Story fans were surprised to hear that he wouldn't be in Lightyear. Tim Allen confirmed on Twitter that he will be back to say Infinity and Beyond in Toy Story 5. He may have done this to avoid another PR disaster like that. Allen also talks about how excited he is to see Woody again, which suggests that Tom Hanks will probably also be back. Now that we know one of the two stars will be back, we can also probably expect Bonnie's other toys. Some of these are Jessie, Bullseye, Rex, Ham, Slinky Dog, Mr. Pricklepants, Trixie, Buttercup, Dolly, and Forky. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head are the only major characters who might not come back or be played by someone else. This is mostly because their actors, Don Rickles and Estella Harris, have both died. A group of toys like Giggle McDimples, Ducky, Bunny, and Duke Kaboom also joined Woody and Bo Peep as toys without owners. They could also be coming back. Thank you for joining us as we explored the latest updates on the highly anticipated Toy Story 5 movie, set to be released in 2025. For potential storylines to new characters and returning favorites, it's clear that Pixar is dedicated to delivering another unforgettable adventure with Woody, Buzz, and the gang. We can't wait to see what surprises and heartwarming moments the gang will bring. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more updates on Toy Story 5 and other upcoming movies. Until next time, keep on toying around.
This time, two of us.
What?
Boys in the water hole.
It's busted.